I just got the bill for my daughter's NICU stay. Do you guys want to know how much it is? $738,360 freaking dollars.
A local woman went to a medical appointment at a hospital that lasted just minutes, but her parking receipt was nearly $8,000.
She drove away, and then when she checked her credit card, she saw she was charged $7,829.
In the United States, getting sick doesn't just send you to the hospital, it can bankrupt you. Millions of Americans are drowning in medical debt. They're having to fight collection agencies instead of fighting to get better. In this video, we'll look at how healthcare costs aren't just draining wallets, they're destroying futures.
Rob Sherrill, when you need an ambulance, the last thought on your mind may be the cost. But now one mother is asking why an ambulance was used to transport her daughter between medical facilities. She's concerned over the initial $7,000 price tag.
And I just wanted to get her something to help with the pain.
Kathleen Dudzik brought her daughter to a satellite ER closer to her home in Homer Glen. But after her daughter was admitted for issues with a cyst, she was told she would have to be transported for further consult to Silver Cross's main hospital in New Lenox, about 11 miles away.
You know, my car's here, can I just drive her there? And they said, you will have to start at step 1 in the ER again. You know, do I go against them? And it could be her appendix. I was going off their medical expertise. She was transported. Next day, she's released. This is not appendicitis. It's what we originally thought, the rupture of a cyst. She comes home.
Dudzik was relieved that her daughter was all right, but then she received this bill from a separate ambulance company, Superior Ambulance Service, for the transport from Homer Glen to New Lenox. It was for $7,260 for 11 miles.
Sticker shock was huge, because it was over $7,000.
Dudzik says she has excellent insurance under a union, so most of her bill was covered. She was left with a $1,300 balance.
I started making phone calls. I called the union who controls our insurance, and they're like, it is the wild, wild west out there.
Dudzik also called the I-Team, wondering what others could be faced with.
What if somebody doesn't have good insurance, and their insurance covered none of that? And then they're on the hook for over $7,000. That could bury somebody.
Superior Ambulance Service declined comment, but passed our inquiries on to the Illinois State Ambulance Association.
$7,260 for 11 miles. Talk about highway robbery. And the comments say, and the EMTS driving the ambulance made $12 an hour. You know that's right. Our medical system is so broken. Refusals in my area are about $500 a pop. Legitimately, if you call and say no, then it's still $500 no matter if you go or not. If you do go, it gets even higher. An EMT commented and said, as an EMT, we don't get paid well anyway. Who is it going to? So frustrating. It's going to the CEOs. The CEOs who do the least amount of work and the least important work. Another comment says, I got a $900 bill for calling 911 and the ambulance took me a mile away to the emergency room.
I just got the bill for my daughter's NICU stay. Do you guys want to know how much it is? Do you want to converse, have a conversation about the price? $738,360 freaking dollars. Almost $1 million. And then I decided to take a look through the itemized bill because they sent every single little thing that they charged for. And I swear there's things that they didn't do. And I swear there's things that they're overcharging for. For example, I noticed on the bill that there is a little tiny tube of Aquaphor that they gave me that I actually still have. $25. $25 for a tiny tube of Aquaphor that I thought the nurse was just giving me to be cute and give it for free. No, ma'am. They made sure to charge every single little thing. Like, that is crazy.
Nothing is for free in a hospital in the US. They charge you for a single ibuprofen. I've seen ibuprofen charges for one pill at $600. I'm surprised they don't charge you for the toilet paper in the bathroom. Or maybe that's what the facility fees are for. One comment says, genuine question from a non-American. How do people pay? We either go into debt or we don't pay and get sent to collections, or we declare bankruptcy because medical bankruptcy is the #1 leading cause of bankruptcy in the US. Another comment, somebody from Canada says, my youngest was in the NICU for a month. Total cost, $0. Americans can't even imagine that. Girl, my daughter's NICU bill was $2.5 million.
I am an uninsured American, and I had a trip to the emergency room about a month ago. I got the bill yesterday, and I just want to go over some of these charges with everybody. IV therapy for 1 bag of saline, $935.78. Laboratory services, for a blood draw, $1,352.75. CT scan imaging, $3,986.63. Emergency center charge, $2,218.08. Pulmonary services, $34.76. Pharmacy services for Benadryl in my IV was $192.74. Cardiac services, $610.83 for a whopping total of $9,331.57.
This is what it's like to be an American. You are constantly getting scammed at every turn because of corporate greed. One comment says, I think I can safely speak on behalf of the whole of the UK and say that we are all sat with our mouths open. I literally had the doctor walk in, look at me, give me ibuprofen, and walk out. 2 weeks later, that doctor wanted $2,000. And they say the US is the greatest nation on the planet. We can't even keep our citizens alive without putting them in debt. What's funny is if you can't afford insurance, how do they think you're going to afford that bill? Oh, but you know they'll try and come after her for that bill. Now, if you think these medical fees are bad, wait until you hear about something called facility fees.
Upset viewers are finding they're on the hook for something they've never seen before, a big facility fee. Some call them extortion. We want you to hear from those patients firsthand because you might face a medical facility fee even if you don't actually go into a medical facility.
I think it's a very shady business practice.
Wendy Coe's ordinary doctor visit took an extraordinary turn to collections. She says she scheduled a routine visit at this John Muir Health office in Walnut Creek, paid her copay, signed some forms, and met with her doctor for 15 minutes. But later, John Muir Health sent Wendy a surprise bill for $125 for a facility fee on top of her copay.
I didn't understand why they were charging me just to simply walk into the facility.
John Muir Health told us its facility fees cover a wide variety of expenses, such as nurses, technicians, environmental services, interpreters, security personnel, plus equipment, utilities, and maintenance. Wendy says she was unaware of her $125 facility fee. There was no price of admission posted anywhere and no verbal warning at check-in. But John Muir Health said Wendy signed this form, agreeing to doctor's fees plus hospital facility services.
So there's nothing about the amount. There's nothing, it's just you're signing your life away, basically. They could charge anything.
She refused to pay. John Muir then sent her account to a debt collector. Wendy's not alone facing a surprise facility fee. Viewers around the U.S. are complaining to our NBC and Telemundo sister stations.
This is just totally wrong.
Valerie Timponi, near Chicago, did a video visit with a hematologist and paid her copay. She says Advocate Health later charged her a $60 facility fee for use of a specialty room.
How many times before you logged in for your video visit did they tell you you were going to be on the hook for a facility fee?
Absolutely none. No upfront disclosure.
So isn't that fun? Facility fees are now a thing on top of outrageous medical bills. Some of the comments say charging a facility fee for a telehealth appointment is extortion. Everything has a fee now. It's all a scam. This kind of practice should be treated as a crime. Another one says $125 out of the blue after already paying the copay. Outrageous. My copay was $75 per office visit. So on top of that $125, that's $200 you would have to pay. I mean, this is just getting too out of hand. The greed knows no bounds.
I got a letter from collections. Apparently, I have a medical bill I haven't paid. I was under the impression I have been paying off that bill in monthly increments. They said that physician billing and hospital billing are different. So I thought I had a expensive bill, thousands of dollars bill from all of it together. Turns out that it was like $2,000 for the hospital services. And then on top of it is a $1,400 bill for physician services from the same place. Make that make sense. Getting a notice from collections, huge shock to me. Had no idea this was going to happen. And I don't know if I'm like stupid, if this is like known amongst people. I've never been to the hospital before in America. I've been out in the hospital out of the country. This is news to me. I have insurance. It didn't pay for a lot of this. It paid like $700. $700, you guys. I had to pay like $3,000. You're joking. This is like a huge slap in the face. I'm literally booking a trip tonight too. Bye-bye, money. Bye-bye. I'm not just gonna like not go on my trip anymore. Like obviously that would be the wise thing to do, would to not book a trip. What the fuck? To collections, so now there's like interest. It's only like $5, but when I lived in Bali and I went to the hospital, it was so cheap. A doctor visit is $12. The hospital in Mexico, it was $800. Like, I can manage $800, $3,000 after insurance. That's what gets me. It's after insurance. Anyways, thanks for coming to my learning lesson for myself on how this works in America. But I'm flabbergasted. No wonder why people go into debt. This shit is insane.
Some of the comments say, don't pay them. I quit paying mine 10 plus years ago. It's never gone on my credit. They send me to collections, but they cannot put it on your credit report. When you go to the hospital, there are 3 separate bills: radiologist, hospital, and physician. I didn't know until I got the job I have now. You're not stupid. It's a shock to a lot of people. I have a college education in this stuff and was still amazed at how many different bills I got after giving birth to my son. A nightmare. And yet they want us to have more babies.
A local woman went to a medical appointment at a hospital that lasted just minutes, but her parking receipt was nearly $8,000. She says she turned to 7 on your side when the hospital would not correct the charge. Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda explains what the hospital is doing now that 7 on your side is involved.
Talk about sticker shock. Imagine parking your car for about 40 minutes and then you go to pay.
The receipt spit out nearly $8,000 as the amount charged.
Kate Daniel says it happened to her when she went for a medical appointment last week at Glendale Memorial Hospital. This is the receipt, which said she had driven into the parking lot in 2022. She naturally assumed it was a mistake.
Is that comma a decimal point? You know, what is that?
She drove away, and then when she checked her credit card, she saw she was charged $7,829. Daniel says when she saw what happened, she immediately came back to try to talk to someone, and she says what really upset her is that people here didn't really seem to take her seriously.
Initially, he saw July 3rd on the ticket, and he said, "You've been parked here for 3 weeks." I said, "I've been parked here for 45 minutes. And I said, "Can I get a name of someone to speak with about this?" He refused to give me a name.
While we were there, this man was having trouble with one of the machines, and people behind him weren't very patient. They started honking, and then after several minutes, he was forced to back up and go to a different exit. Daniel says she lost her husband to cancer about a year ago, and it's one reason why this incident has upset her so much.
I remember what it feels like to be in this state of crisis with health and with my husband, and nobody needs something like that to have to contend with in the midst of all of that.
We contacted the hospital, and a spokesperson told us Glendale Memorial Hospital contracts with a third party, Parking Company of America, to provide parking services for our patients and visitors. We were made aware of a billing error by the parking company that resulted in an overcharge for one guest. Once notified, the parking company promptly acknowledged the mistake and began processing a refund. Daniel says she doesn't have her money back yet, but she was promised a refund by the end of this week, and we will let you know what happens.
Imagine if she hadn't went to her local news station. I don't know that she would have got her money back, because these companies make it extremely hard to get a hold of them on purpose. Some of the comments say, paying for parking at hospitals is already diabolical. That is no mistake. Been paying for insurance already for 7,000 years and still pay big copays. Even if it was 3 weeks, that's too much money. Don't just settle for a refund. They need to pay you for the time you wasted on straightening their problem and the stress on your health. I think some of the hidden stressors that people around the world don't understand that Americans have to deal with on a regular basis, the time we spend calling to fix these companies' mistakes, or the stressors of being scammed, just all these little things, they really add up. And it's time that you could be spending with your family. It's time that you could be working to actually make money with, Lord knows what the cost of living right now. People need more money. I mean, it's just a constant stress on Americans all the time.
As you guys may or may not know, 2 months ago my mom died, and I just got the bill in the mail from the hospital, and it is astronomical. And I assume that if you're not inside the American healthcare system, you really don't understand how crazy it is and how expensive it is to not only live in the United States, but apparently die in the United States, because it is crazy. I actually want to play a game where I would have you pause this video, comment the amount you think that her bill is, to just be in the hospital for less than 24 hours and not make it out? Comment down there and tell me what you think. Now that you got your guesses in, I'm going to give you that final number of $70,261.87. It should shock me, but it doesn't. I mean, nothing shocks me anymore. It's just some icing on the cake.
That is so sad. This poor man just lost his mother and now he's having to deal with this. I hope that they're not thinking that he's going to pay. Legally, he should not have to pay because that was his mother. But if she's married, you know they're sending it to her spouse. As if the spouse would need anything else to deal with after losing his loved one. One comment says, from experience, as the executor of the estate, you are not personally liable. However, if there are any assets that got left behind, the hospital will fight to get paid from the sale of them. Do not in any way accept responsibility for it.
Last year, my brother passed away, a pharmaceutical statistic, and $1 million in medical debt. I was his caretaker after he got ran over by a car, and I was also made next of kin to take care of his remains. Over 10 years ago, my older brother moved in with me to clean up off of substances, specifically a pharmaceutical. When he was 3 months sober, he was walking to his second day of college, and he got ran over by a car going 40 miles an hour with no brakes. It's a miracle he survived. He was living with me in Portland, and the rest of our family is in upstate New York. I was his sole caretaker. His legs were broke clean through, and I watched him have to get a prescription for the thing he just quit. And then I watched him quit that thing for a second time after being run over by a car and really needing it. He did end up going back to school and getting a degree, but he was in a lot of pain and permanent damage from getting run over by a car, and he was $1 million in medical debt. I was made next of kin, so I don't doubt they're going to start coming after me for his medical debt.
Fortunately, I don't think that she can inherit his debt, but the fact that he was even having to deal with that after all he'd already been dealt, he had an accident, which people have accidents every day, all the time, all around the world, and then you just get put in $1 million of debt. Like, oh yeah, it's okay, just go on and live your life, but make sure you pay us that $1 million. What? For-profit healthcare is a scam, and it is killing Americans every day. But let's end on a lighter note.
$1,600 in medical debt? Kiddo, you went to the hospital for a tummy ache.
No, Dad, it was actually a appendicitis, and I had to get an emergency surgery.
Don't you have insurance?
Yeah, Dad, I have insurance, but they only cover 80% of it until you reach, like, the out-of-pocket maximum.
Oh, that can't be right. I mean, did you even try to negotiate with the hospital?
Dad, no, I didn't have a choice. I went there, I could barely talk. I knew I needed to get the thing out.
Did you at least get a second opinion?
Dad, it was an emergency surgery. I could barely talk. I couldn't walk. No.
Well, what'd they do? Replace your appendix with a gold-plated one? What's it gonna do? Do your laundry for you?
No, Dad, they didn't replace it. They just take it out.
Didn't replace it? That kind of bootleg surgery. I mean, can you survive without one of those?
Yeah, I mean, you don't need it, I think.
You probably should ask your mother. I mean, you should have asked her before they took it out. I mean, she's always watching those ID discovery shows.
Well, Dad, I think it's a little late. I'm surviving.
Well, not comfortably with $1,600 worth of medical debt.
So that is going to do it for today. I hope that you'll check out one or two of these videos on screen right over here. And thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.